Thank you for joining us. My name is Emmanuel Remy. I'm Councilmember Emmanuel Remy. I'm pitch hitting for my colleague and friend, Council President Pro Tem Elizabeth Brown, for this important hearing today. I hope to make this as exciting of a hearing as she would, so let's get started. Appreciate the patience and waiting. I had another meeting that I had to finish before this. So the purpose of today's finance hearing is to review the 2022 action plan for the City of Columbus. The plan combines the application and planning process for a group of federal housing and urban development grants into a single document. The grants covered are the Community Development Block Grants, the Home Investment Partnerships, the Emergency Solutions Grant, and Housing Opportunities for Persons with AIDS. As a condition of receiving these federal grant dollars, the city is required to submit a 5-year consolidation plan with an annual plan to allocate funding submitted in each of the program years. This 2022 action plan is the third year of the 2020 to 2024 consolidated plan. These dollars represent important investments in Columbus's neighborhoods that focus on the housing, development, and infrastructure needs of low and moderate income housing. This hearing and the public comment period are opportunities to let us know how these grants can have the greatest impact in our neighborhoods. The public comment period remains open until December 6th. The plan can be viewed at columbus.gov/finance under the Grants Management section. Comments can be submitted to grantsmgmt@columbus.gov. That's grantsmgmt@columbus.gov. We will first hear an overview from Deputy Director Eric Russell before moving into presentations from the departments who manage these grants. With that, I am going to go ahead and turn it right over to Deputy Director Russell. Deputy Director, are you there?
I'm here. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Councilmember Remy and committee members. It is an honor and privilege to be here with you today discussing the draft annual action plan. For those I have not met, I am Eric Russell, Deputy Director of the Department of Finance and Management, and I'm representing Finance Director Joseph A. Lombardi. The city does receive, on an annual basis, millions of dollars in funds from the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD. As a condition of receiving those funds, we are required to submit an annual action plan to HUD that identifies the projects that we anticipate executing in the coming city fiscal year. I'm joined today by two members of my grants management section, Lucy McMahon, our grants management coordinator, and Matt LaRoche, our budget management specialist, who works on both programmatic and financial matters. It would be remiss of me to not thank them and give them very public and high praise for the amount of work they've done, soliciting, evaluating projects, and developing new projects. So it's been a Herculean effort this year, and they've handled the workload without any complaints. So thank you to both of them and their team and their efforts. The draft action plan includes our recommended projects that will be funded by 4 different primary sources. The Community Development Block Grant, or referred to as CDBG, which is led by the Department of Finance and Management. The Housing Opportunities for Persons with AIDS program, which is referred to as HOPWA, and is led by the Columbus Public Health. The Home Partnership Program, which is commonly referred to as HOME, and funds affordable housing opportunities. This program is led by the Department of Development. And the Emergency Solutions Grant, or ESG, which focuses on providing homelessness prevention and shelter assistance. This program is also led by Development. We anticipate approximately $17.1 million in FY22 funding, and that's based on historical funding levels. So there are anticipated differences and increases that may occur once we receive final funding numbers from the federal government in early 2022. Included within the $17.1 million amount are administrative funds for select personnel, audit costs, monitoring and compliance oversight that gives the city its assurance that the funds are being used appropriately and provides that similar assurance to the federal government. And it also helps to fund any training that directly benefits the HUD program. The total administrative cost allocation that we've included is $2.6 million, which is approximately equal to the maximum allowable administrative cost that we may be reimbursed as a city for the programs for the year. Once we receive our final funding numbers, we will make the necessary revisions to our draft annual action plan, which we're reviewing today, and we'll communicate those changes to council at that time as well. So everyone will be fully in the loop in terms of what the final action plan will look like. With that, that is our general overview, and I thank you for your time, and I'm happy to address any questions at this time before we move on to the next speaker.
Thank you, Deputy Director Russell. We appreciate that testimony this afternoon. I did want to talk a little bit about, I understand part of your mission is to bring, together, kind of reevaluate and to adjust the public comment, the public engagement piece to these plans. And I wanted to hear a little bit about the work that's been done and the work that you intend to do so that it's a more robust community engagement process.
Certainly, yes. We've taken several steps currently to date. The first was to have an initial public comment period, and we held a meeting that was attended by a number of individuals remotely as well as an individual in person in the August-September timeframe. Second is this step, which is to have a public hearing that includes council, and that's a hybrid approach, both in chambers as well as remote. But we've also sought to include and to solicit comments and feedback through social media. We're continuing that conversation with President Pro Tem Brown and her team to understand what some of the strategies may be to further engage the public. So we posted the plan to our website. We allow feedback and comments from any members of the public to try and further engage them through that manner. But we are certainly open to any feedback or suggestions that you or others may have.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Am I introducing the next person, or are you? I guess I am. Sorry. Our next opportunity for speaker is Sean Hubert, the Ryan White Program Director with Columbus Public Health in regards to the housing opportunities for persons with AIDS. Sean, are you available?
Yes, I am.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Councilmember Remy and the rest of Council. I am Sean Hubert, as mentioned, with Columbus Public Health. I'll be giving a small overview of the HOPWA program. So Housing Opportunities for Persons with AIDS is the only federal program dedicated to housing needs of people living with HIV or AIDS. For many years, the city has been receiving these funds to be used in our Metropolitan Statistical Area, or MSA, which does make up 8 counties in Central Ohio. HOPWA does serve low-income persons living at or below 80% of the median income who are living with HIV and who have challenges with housing stability that may impede their medication adherence. And that is done through housing case management, through short-term rental assistance, what we call STRUMU, or long-term rental assistance, TBRA, tenant-based rental assistance. We do intend to continue funding for agencies that have been funded in the past to have been long-term partners with HOPWA, and 2 newer agencies that have been growing in the last couple of years. Those agencies would include Lutheran Social Services Faith Mission in Franklin County, Equitas Health in Franklin County, Lancaster Fairfield Community Action Agency in Fairfield County, and Licking County Coalition for Housing in Licking County. Each of these agencies will be providing different services that I had mentioned, with tenant-based rental assistance, permanent housing placement, or supportive housing. And was I supposed to then go ahead and decree how much each one of those agencies will be requested to fund?
If you have a brief overview of that would be great.
Sure. So with Lutheran Social Services, they will be increasing their funding. They will be actually increasing the tenant-based rental assistance, as well as permanent housing placement of $824,738 for calendar year 2022. Equitas Health's funding for TBRA, PHP, and supportive services will be $744,108. Lancaster Fairfield Community Action will be funded $490,730 for TBRA, the short-term rental assistance, and PHP and supportive housing. And Licking County Coalition for Housing will be asked to fund $395,424 for use of the TBRA, the short-term rental assistance and PHP, permanent housing and support services and supportive services.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hubert. Certainly appreciate your testimony. I don't have any questions for you, so appreciate it, and we'll move on. Next speaker is going to speak in regards to the Emergency Solutions Grant. That's Hannah Jones, the Deputy Director for the Department of Development. Hannah, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, Councilmember Remy. Thank you very much for the opportunity to present. I am presenting on the Emergency Solutions Grant, which is a portion of the support that we give to the Community Shelter Board. They have been the city's partner and subrecipient for this funding since it was established with HUD. Traditionally, we receive about $500,000 to $600,000. It's anticipated that we'll get $636,000 approximately in 2022. That funding goes to support emergency shelters as well as rapid rehousing programs. Emergency shelters serving single adults include Southeast Inc., Friends of the Homeless, and Lutheran Social Services Faith Mission. And then for rapid rehousing, we serve families through the Salvation Army and the Homeless Families Foundation. Happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you very much. I don't have any questions, and since it's a limited council audience today, I will move on to some of the other folks in your department. Next is our Housing Administrator, Rita Parise, the Housing Administrator for the Department of Development. Ms. Parise, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, Council Member and all invited guests. I want to briefly review with you what our plans are for the coming year for the Home Investment Partnership Program. It focuses exclusively on housing. We anticipate approximately $4.4 million to be provided to us from HUD. Of that, we have some statutory mandated set-asides. Number one, 15% of our allocation each year goes to community housing development organizations, also known as CHODOs. In addition to that, up to 5% of our allocation can be utilized to help provide operating support for CHODOs who are very neighborhood focused and based. In addition to that, a portion of our administrative funds will be going to the Community Development Collaborative, which is administered by the Affordable Housing Trust of Columbus and Franklin County. And they do the administration of the collaborative overall, which is very hands-on working with our CHODOs to ensure their success. In addition to that, we are looking at homeownership development. We expect to have approximately 10 units completed in 2022 for low and moderate income home buyers. We are looking at numerous rental projects being completed. We estimate that approximately 440 affordable units in total will be completed. Of those, 33 are considered assisted with home funds, and we have 2 home match units in addition to that. We also do a TBRA contract program with the Community Shelter Board for individuals who are looking in need of permanent housing but unable to pay the rent on their own. And our biggest issue for this year is the progress improvements that we are making on our first-time homebuyer down payment assistance program, also known as ADDI. We are increasing our allocation for ADDI from a maximum of $5,000 to $7,500. This is in reflection of the increase in the market prices around our community and to help facilitate the transition for first-time home buyers. We are also moving to looking at different process improvement opportunities to help streamline and maximize our benefit to our home buyers. And in addition to that, we're very much looking forward to going to some cloud-based software so that lenders will be able to submit all of their information to us in a complete package without having to necessarily make runs downtown. So we're excited about that. We've had some challenges that we continue to deal with in this current year. Cost increases and supply chain issues have made closing and getting projects completed much more difficult. We've seen a big slowdown this year in closings and do expect that to slow down our completions for 2022. We also have to admit the unbelievable need for affordable housing in our community. And we're very, very lucky to have partners in our community who are really doing the work for us. We pretty much pass out the money and they get the work done. And with that being said, I have asked Reverend John Edgar, who is the Executive Director of Community Development for All People. He is one of our community chodos. If he would say a few words. So with your concurrence, Councilmember, I'd like to turn the floor over to John.
Thank you. Looking forward to hearing from Reverend Edgar.
Good afternoon, Councilmember Remy. I appreciate the opportunity to participate in today's hearing. I am the Executive Director of Community Development for All People. We're a faith-based nonprofit with a mission of improving the quality of life for people living on the south side of Columbus. We provide direct services to over 40,000 residents through our Fresh Market, the Free Store, and other initiatives. Community Development for All People also operates as a community development housing organization. We have produced more than $100 million of affordable housing on the south side over a period of 15 years. Our housing development work unfolds through wonderful collaborations with a variety of partners. The investments and the guidance provided by the City of Columbus have been essential to the success of so many of our housing initiatives. One key aspect of our housing work involves developing quality, affordable rental, single-family homes and duplexes. We acquire vacant blighted structures that we rehab and then lease at modest prices. We also build new infill rental homes on lots where houses had previously been torn down. The City of Columbus has granted multiple allocations of federal home funds to us for this important work. These home dollars inspire additional grants from various philanthropic sources, all of which we use to leverage the loan dollars that we borrow to complete each of these developments. We build multifamily apartments using federal low-income housing tax credits, and the City of Columbus has generously contributed hundreds of thousands of dollars, frequently home funds, to complete the financing on these developments. Without these home funds, these apartment buildings could not be constructed. Furthermore, the Chodo set-aside provisions further ensure that significant portions of the home funds will be deployed through neighborhood-based CDCs, such as Community Development for All People. I speak for the thousands of citizens on the south side of Columbus when I express our appreciation for these continued investments in affordable housing by the City of Columbus. Your strategic contributions of local and federal funds are essential, and they are the positive catalysts propelling the ongoing renaissance that's unfolding in our community. In all of these endeavors, the staff of the City of Columbus Department of Development and the Housing Division have been wonderful partners for us. These public servants are knowledgeable, helpful, and consistently provide invaluable guidance that enhances our endeavors. Working together in these public-private collaborations, we are building an opportunity-rich mixed-income community on the south side. With the help of the housing dollars coming through the City of Columbus, we're creating safe, decent, affordable places to live that hundreds and hundreds of families now call home. One of our older adult residents put it this way shortly after she moved into a new apartment building for seniors we constructed with the help of home funds. When a community leader asked her what she thought of her new home, she responded with a big smile and said, "This is luxury living anyone can afford. Affordable in large part because of you." So thanks for these crucial investments in housing and the lives you are changing for the better. Before concluding my testimony, I want to express appreciation for another dimension of the city's funding to community development for all people that will be positively impacting the South Side in 2022. We're very grateful for the allocation of community development block grant funds that are helping us to launch the South End Cafe. The South End Cafe will provide good paying jobs to those who are having a hard time finding employment, such as returning citizens and those who've been out of the workforce for extended periods of time. Positions at the cafe will be offered to people who have had little prior experience but want to go back to work. People who want to gain a work history and practical training in both soft and hard job skills that they'll use as a springboard for future employment. And we're leveraging relationships with employers such as Nationwide Children's Hospital with a goal that they will recruit from our staff, offering permanent positions on career pathways. The cafe will offer affordable, healthy meals in a neighborhood where access to healthy food is limited. As the area around the cafe continues to redevelop, it's important to have places where there can be affordable, quality food accessible to everyone in this mixed income neighborhood. In addition, the cafe provides a place for community members to gather for meetings, activities, and socialization. We appreciate the $35,000 in CDBG funding that the City of Columbus is providing for the equipment and fixtures at the South End Cafe. Thanks for the opportunity to share today, and we are grateful for what is happening to the investments of the City of Columbus in neighborhoods like the South Side.
Thank you very much, Reverend Edgar. Truly appreciate the commitment and work that you've done on the South Side. It's truly been transformational. That work is amazing work, and certainly was happy to have my colleagues and I support the development of the All People Southside Cafe. I think that it's going to provide a wonderful resource for the residents of the South Side as well as employment opportunities. So we're excited to see that move forward, and certainly to be well equipped through the CDBG funds. Thank you again, and also thank you to Rita Parise for her testimony in regards to the housing initiatives. Next, we'll move on to Community Development Block Grant. Speaker tonight is Lucy McMahon, the Grants Management Coordinator for Finance and Management. Ms. McMahon, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Councilmember. Like he just said, my name is Lucy McMahon. I am the Grants Management Coordinator for the Department of Finance and Management. The Department of Finance and Management is proposing fiscal year 2022 Community Development Block Grant funding for a variety of projects which meet goals from the city's HUD Consolidated Plan. First, Finance and Management proposes $680,000 for the Grants Management Section staffing and contracting required for the administration of the city's U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development grants. The Department of Finance and Management is also proposing the utilization of CDBG funding for a fencing project at the Columbus Metropolitan Housing Authority's Carroll Stewart Village. The project is estimated to cost $250,000. The project removes blighted fencing and provides a new security fence around the entire perimeter of the property. We're also proposing $210,000 of CDBG funds to be utilized to implement the city's 2022 Fair Housing Program and housing discrimination testing in order to provide Columbus residents with services that affirmatively further fair housing. This summer, the Department of Finance and Management publicly requested proposals from external agencies for CDBG projects. As a result of that request for proposals process, we'd like to fund 5 subrecipients. We're proposing funding for Rebuilding Together Central Ohio, doing business as Mod Con Living, in the amount of $86,500 for the expansion of the organization's tool library and home ownership sustainability programming. We're also proposing $18,790 of fiscal year 2022 CDBG funding for the 7 Baskets Community Development Corporation to provide students attending Shady Lane Elementary School on Columbus's east side with after-school activities, homework assistance, and meals. The next proposed Department of Finance and Management CDBG subaward is with Community Development for All People in the amount of $35,134 for purchasing of equipment at the new Southside Cafe located on Parsons Avenue. So that's what we just heard about from Reverend Edgar. Finance and Management is also proposing $100,000 of CDBG funding for a subaward to the Legal Aid Society of Columbus to assist low to moderate income renters in Columbus by using legal tools to encourage landlords to invest in the maintenance of rental properties. The project's goal is to assist 250 tenants in 1 year. Finally, we're proposing a subaward in the amount of $200,000 to Economic and Community Development Institute, Incorporated, for the organization's Capital for Construction program to provide training and technical assistance to Columbus businesses in the construction industry and construction trades. This program will target minority businesses and is complementary to the loan services provided by the organization. Thank you again, Councilmember, for hosting this hearing today. I also want to say thank you to all the external partners that I just mentioned, and thank you to my wonderful colleagues who are also presenting today.
Hot seat here, but I have to, something caught my eye on the Carroll Stewart Village, and looking at that, first of all, do we own that as a city?
It's a CMHA property.
So I'm looking at, I guess I'm confused what costs $250,000 around that project. I mean, is it some sort of decorative fencing?
No, it's the removal of some existing fencing that's blighted, and then security fencing both around the perimeter. And that perimeter will include the land where the Harriet's Hope project will be built in 22, as well as some gates in between both of those properties.
So essentially it's temporary for $250,000?
It's security fencing, it's chain link.
I think that we might want to rebid that. But, huh?
This is just based on cost estimate so far.
Okay. And I don't know if I should go to you or Deputy Director, back to Hannah Jones, but the $200,000, I mean, really, I only see $200,000 in here for any type of economic development activity, which is limited in scope. You know, this is something that myself and many of my colleagues have been pushing for, is a better plan to help small businesses, especially renovation funds, et cetera. And so I don't know that you'd be the best person to answer that, but since we got through the economic development portion of it, based on this round, I might go back to Deputy Director Hannah Jones to talk about any work that might have been done to help support small business.
Thank you, Councilmember Remy. As it relates to CDBG specifically, I think that the Department of Finance coordinated a lot of that with grants management, and we continue to look at ARP and other funding opportunities to create a platform for small business support, even if it is not necessarily through CDBG directly. So I'm going to defer to Lucy on answering how they chose the projects they did. But from the Department of Development perspective, our commitment to ensuring that small businesses have an opportunity to benefit from grant programs within our city is still very much a priority for us.
Thank you. Do you have any further follow-up, Lucy?
Yeah, I would just add that we are excited to fund ECDI this year for this Capital for Construction programming. We know that economic development is another goal that we'd like to do some more work with CDBG dollars, and we, looking forward, will continue to work with external agencies and the Department of Development to try to get creative and come up with some new programming that we can fund with CDBG.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate your testimony this evening. Next, we have Morgan Wade, the Management Analyst for Columbus Recreation and Parks. Mr. Wade, Morgan Wade, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Councilmember Remy and members of the Finance Committee and our colleagues in Finance for having us here tonight. I'd like to take this opportunity to present some of Recreation and Parks capital projects that we'll be proposing for the 2022 action plan year. In the last 3 years, our department has used over just about $10 million of capital project funding through CDBG to address some of our community's greatest recreation needs. And we're excited to continue this partnership. In the 2022 action plan, we have $3.9 million worth of capital projects funded through CDBG, or proposed to be funded through CDBG. The first of these projects that I'd like to talk about is the construction of the Glenwood and Windsor pools. $3 million in CDBG funding would support an overall construction budget of $15 million for the Glenwood and Windsor pools in 2022. Each of these existing pools are about 50 or more years old and are overcrowded, heavily expensive to maintain, and ill-equipped by today's standards to meet the aquatics needs of our communities. Over the past year, we've engaged residents through surveys, pool site, in-person site visits at the pools, and public meetings, virtual public meetings through the design phase, which was also funded by CDBG. The new pools will feature zero-depth entries, water slides and spray features, multiple shade structures, new or updated bathhouses, and generally a better configuration of the lap lanes, the leisure pools, and separate diving wells that will help to reduce some of the crowding and congestion that residents talked about in the survey responses, and accommodate all the types of programming requested by the community. The next projects that I'd like to talk about are the playground improvements at Maloney and Nelson Parks. $400,000 in CDBG funding would be going toward these playground and park improvements. This builds on the success we've had in using CDBG funds to address 23 other playgrounds just over the past 2 years. These playground improvements include replacing structures at the end of their 20-year life cycle with newer and exciting new features, adding poured-in-place rubberized surfacing, and additional site amenities like benches and more trash receptacles and other requested small items. Maloney Parks project also includes new workout stations. That was a heavily requested item from the community, and provides more opportunities for all ages. And Nelson Parks project addresses some of the drainage challenges that comes from having the location right next to Alum Creek. The third project meets HUD action plan objective of program management and capacity building, and that would be $500,000 for urban tree canopy site assessments. This money would allow our forestry division to continue assessing all of the street trees and potential sites for new street trees in the city's public rights of way. Roughly 20% of the city's rights of way would be assessed through this round of funding. The data collection and analysis is a key strategy outlined in our urban forestry master plan adopted earlier this year. And last year, CDBG funding kicked off our first phase of site assessments in eligible block groups. Recreation and Parks capital and the urban forestry master plan funds are utilized to capture the non-CDBG areas, and this $500,000 of CDBG will complete and make our inventory up to date for all the remaining CDBG eligible areas in the city. This is a critical project for the city to make informed decisions about how we prioritize street tree plantings across Columbus. We also have program operating funds that CDBG also funds our program operations for a few of our programs, and Elaine Hostetler, our fiscal manager, is going to be speaking for those projects on behalf of our department. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Ms. Wade. Ms. Hostetler, the floor is yours.
Hey, thank you, Councilmember. We do receive $900,000 for various programs that we offer through Rec and Parks. These are ongoing programs. The first is the Capital Kids program you may be familiar with. It's an after-school program that provides academic support and enrichment in a safe after-school and out-of-school environment for elementary age students. That staff engages with parents and educators on a weekly basis. The funding for it, $630,000, goes to funding 5 full-time positions for that program and 40 part-time positions. The program's offered in 4 different community centers: the Patterson Community Center, Marion Franklin, Sullivan Gardens, and Beatty Community Centers. And they serve about, in their after-school program, they serve about 140 children in grades K through 5 each day. And they also offer a summer camp and a spring break camp where they serve nearly 200 kids in that program. That's the first one. And then we are also proposing funding of $90,000 for the Recreation and Parks Fitness Camp. So this camp takes place during the summer months, over the traditional summer camp time. And they also offer a 1 to 2 week winter school break camp. The camp focuses on a variety of activities to promote ability, confidence, and desire to participate in the realm of physical activity, mindfulness, and overall wellness. Up to 200 campers aged 5 to 15 participate in a range of opportunities that include games, sports, fitness skills and drills, and creative arts. The $90,000 in funding would support 15 part-time positions dedicated to the program. And that traditionally operates out of Driving Park Community Center, Glenwood, Marion Franklin, and Douglas Community Centers. Although over COVID, we've had to alter that a little bit, and we've been offering the camp in some other positions just to be able to conform to the COVID protocols. And the third program that we propose funding with CDBG is $180,000 to fund 2 full-time positions for our community recreation staff at the Linden Recreation Center. We offer programming at the Linden Recreation Center and all of our other recreation centers for ages pre-K through older adults. We offer programming at least 5 days a week. And our programming includes art, sports, competitive play, fitness, educational enrichment, social service connections, and leisure opportunities. And the Linden Opportunity Center's unique features include a state-of-the-art music studio, a gorgeous learning kitchen, and an outdoor futsal court and a splash pad. So those are the programs that we're hoping to fund with CDBG dollars this year. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to help you out with those.
Thank you very much, Ms. Hostetler. We appreciate your testimony this evening. I don't have any questions, so move on to Emerald Hernandez Parra, the Assistant Director, Department of Neighborhoods. Emerald, the floor is yours.
Good evening, Council Member. My name is Emmanuel Remy, and I am the Assistant Director with the Department of Neighborhoods, charged with the implementation of the Comprehensive Neighborhood Safety Strategy. The department is investing in innovative programs and working with partners to reduce violent crime and build stronger and safer neighborhoods through a broad-based approach. In addition to programmatic investments, we are working to make infrastructure investments as well. Our department has been working in a new cross-departmental approach that will strengthen neighborhoods by coordinating city resources to create physical deterrents to crime. Data from all aspects of the Comprehensive Neighborhood Safety Strategy will determine where infrastructure investments are needed to improve the sense of security and safety within our neighborhoods. $100,000 has been budgeted to the Linden Lighting Project. The goal of this work is to illuminate sidewalks as well as our streets. During one of our Linden Project planning, meetings, all meeting, and then multiple after that. Parents reported sending their students to school late during the winter months to avoid having to send their children out to walk in the dark. Pairing school routes mapped by the Department of Health Safe Routes to School program and crime data, we are selecting areas that would benefit the most from these investments. By providing effective lighting to neighborhoods, we will increase the safety and produce more advantageous environments for mobility throughout the year. Happy to take any questions you may have.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the presentation this evening. I am okay with that. Don't have any questions. So I'm going to move on to our final speaker, Andrea Losick, the fiscal manager for the Department of Public Service.
Hi, good afternoon, council member. My name is Andrea Losick, and I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak briefly about the Department of Public Services proposed 2022 action plan projects. The department's proposed action plan budget totals $3,030,237 to achieve the goal of public facilities and infrastructure improvements, and we will invest those dollars in 3 different projects that will help improve the quality of life for Columbus residents. The first project is the 2022 Neighborhoods Curb Improvements Project. The Department of Public Service is requesting funding for new curb ramps to be constructed to meet current ADA standards. The project will improve pedestrian safety throughout the city in CDBG eligible areas, and we are requesting $1,530,237, which will provide for 409 ADA compliant curb ramps at 88 different intersections throughout the city. Existing roads, alleys, sidewalks, and other infrastructure components that are impacted by this project will be repaired or replaced as necessary. And the contract can be set up to a specific dollar amount. So the request is scalable based on the amount awarded. The next project is the Wheatland Avenue Street Improvements Phase 1 project. This is new development continues on the Hilltop Wheatland Avenue. The Wheatland Avenue Street Improvements project is currently under contract for design with CDBG funds. And CDBG funds are requested to be utilized for tree removal and utilities relocation. This is the first phase of a total Wheatland Avenue street improvement project from Broad Street to Glenwood Avenue, which will allow for two-way traffic, parking, and additional sidewalks, as well as concrete curbs, storm sewer, and street lighting. The Wheatland Avenue project is requesting $800,000 for this first phase of construction, and additional funding for the project is included within the capital budget. The final project is the Neighborhoods Trash and Recycling Litter Receptacles project. The Department of Public Service is requesting CDBG funding in the amount of $700,000 to remove and replace sidewalk and litter receptacles on East Main Street, West Sullivan Avenue, Broad Street, East 11th Avenue, Gay Street, High Street, and various other locations. The existing sidewalk receptacles are reaching end of life and have become unserviceable, leading to increased litter and blight in neighborhoods and commercial corridors. This is especially critical in areas serviced with public transportation and large volumes of pedestrian and multimodal transportation options. So again, I would like to thank you for the opportunity to review Public Services proposed 2022 action plan project, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much, Ms. Losick. Appreciate your testimony this evening. I don't have any questions. So with that, we do have 3 speakers this afternoon, 2 of them virtual, 1 in person. So we'll call on our first virtual speaker this afternoon, Minister Ashe. Minister Ashe, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Councilman Remy.
Go ahead. The floor is yours. So you have 3 minutes, and please acknowledge any group you may be associated with.
My name is Kujenga Elia Ashe. I'm the Benevolent Secretary for the Baptist Ministerial Alliance of Columbus and vicinity. I'm a member of the Civic Betterment Committee, which serves all 3 intercity alliances, the Interdenominational Ministerial Alliance, President Coates, the Baptist Ministerial Alliance, President Moorhead, and the Baptist Pastors Conference, President Washington. I live at 1119 East 16th Avenue, Columbus, Ohio, 43211. Real quickly, Mr. Chair, number one, I want to commend Rita Paris, first of all, for doing such a great job with the housing and other projects that she does. Rita Paris has been outstanding in all that she has done. So I need to do that, number one. And I hope that she continues to do what she's been doing. But number two, Mr. Chairman, I have a problem. My problem is with the 2022 action plan as it is laid out. It does not include the Haitian refugees and migrants that are here in Columbus, Ohio. They've approached me. I took 10 of them to meet Mayor Ginther at the opening of our Linden Fresh Market and Free Pharmacy. They met him and gave him their concerns about the horses running down on their people at the river, their family members here in Columbus who don't have housing. We're trying to get jobs. I have 3 nonprofits. I have 3 Haitian nonprofits that are trying to help these people, and they need help from City Council. I've supported President Biden, voted for him. He does a great thing with the Afghans. Franklin County Commissioners, I've met with the Franklin County Commissioners legal team, Ms. Autumn. They put out a great statement for the Afghans. I've met with Carla Williams Scott of the Department of Neighborhoods. She said that she could not help us in her capacity, but she did mention a 2017 statement made by the city. And she said she would send that to me, but I've never received that, dealing with immigrants. So I would like to get that 2017 statement from the mayor. With the Haitians had a rally at the Board of Elections. President Shannon Harding came out and spoke. Nick came out and spoke. Ms. Lourdes came out and spoke. We supported them and they won. And I'm very glad that they won. But Nick and Lourdes will not be on council until next year when this plan takes effect. But we need some help right now with this Haitian delegation, the people that are here. They need housing. They need to fast track to get their green cards and other kinds of information. And I have 3 nonprofits that will do that, but I need the city's help. I need the mayor's help. I need council's help. So that's my position. I'm representing not only myself, but I have 3 letters of support from the Baptist Pastors Conference, the Ministers Alliance, and the Interdenominational Ministerial Alliance, all supporting the Haitian refugees, detainees, and immigrants. So that's my problem right now. I'm very concerned. These people are sleeping on couches. They're living with relatives. They've come up from Texas. Some of them have been here for a while, and they need help. Okay, Mr. Remy, that's my concern. If you can some kind of way weave that into the action plan, get President Harding to get in touch with me, or get Ms. Williams to send me the 2017 statement, I would appreciate it. Thank you very much. I yield the floor.
Thank you, Reverend Ashay. My office will reach out to you. There are some things outside of this budget that we might be able to assist with, and so I'll loop back with Council President Hardin and reach out to you directly here later this week. So thank you for your testimony.
I would really, really appreciate it, Councilman Remy, because people are in desperate situations. I have the largest the largest Haitian church in Columbus, Pastor Carlo Andre. He's on board. He has a nonprofit. I have Mr. Wagner, who has a tax services up on Bush Boulevard, and Mr. Hans, John Charles, who has a nonprofit located at 35 East Gay Street, right downtown. So everything's in place, but we need some help. The Afghans are getting all this services and all the $6.5 billion from the federal government, but I haven't been able to get to that level yet. I need to start right here at home to try and help these folks so that Columbus will be a better place to live for everybody, for all of the refugees and immigrants. So thank you, Mr. Remy. I yield the floor.
Thank you. We'll make sure and have a discussion and see how we can assist. Our next speaker is Sophia Duguay. I will ask you to state your name and any organization you may be associated with in your address. You have 3 minutes for your testimony.
Well, thank you, everyone, for evening, and thank you for allowing me to speak today. My name is Stewart, and I live in 649 Quick Park Court, Ohio 4004. I'm here today in the Haitian immigrants as well, and thank you, Minister, for the Haitians. Yes, as Mr. Ashley mentioned, there are a lot of immigrants that actually are in the help, and so far we are not getting anything. And I am advocating for them. I am a U.S. citizen right here, and I've seen the pain in Texas, where I've seen a lot that they are left with nothing. After they leave the detention center, they took everything that they had, and they have to start over. A lot of them, they have children that were sick with pneumonia, and some of them too are sick with pneumonia. They need health care. They need founding. They need housing. They need. They're not be living with the relative for the rest of their life. They need help. I'm standing right now. Actually, I'm speaking right now to actually ask you guys, everyone here, to actually open your heart and understand the situation of Haiti. Right now, a lot of Haitians stay there. Even if some Haitians, they want to stay in their country, because of the situation right now, they cannot stay there. There's kidnapping, there's killing, there's no jobs. If the country is shut down, there's no gas. The gangs are saying that no one can actually travel anywhere. Even there's a traveling ban for Haiti. So these people cannot be deported back to Haiti. They're already here, and then a lot of them already here in Ohio. And then I'm pleading and I'm begging in a way to ask you guys to open your hearts the same way you are helping the Afghans, the other people. I've heard all of you on the floor, the amount of money you are having to actually help with housing, with this and that, education. These people, they're also in need of this as well. So if you guys, I'm expecting a change. I'm expecting some kind of fundings for the Haitians migrants that are here in Ohio or throughout Ohio. So that's my plea right now. That's why I'm here to actually, I'm happy that Minister Jenga is standing up for the migrants. He's not Haitian, but he's standing up. So he has a heart for the people, not for all migrants, I should say. And I'm Haitians, born in Haiti, and I'm citizens here, and I'm standing to actually ask. I'm speaking on their behalf, advocating for them, so that we can have some kind of. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Duguay. We, again, we'll look into this matter and see what avenues we have to help. Certainly want to make sure that every resident's lifted up here within the city of Columbus. So thank you for your testimony. Our final speaker this evening is here in person, Mr. Brian Miller. And so, Mr. Brian Miller, if you'd come up to the podium and state your name, address, and any organization you may be associated with. You have 3 minutes, and we appreciate it. So the floor is yours.
Thank you for having this and being present today. My name is Brian Miller. My address is 3749 Rott Road, Columbus, Ohio. And it is not a secret that the Columbus real estate market is growing and thriving more and more every day. However, the people that live in these communities are being excluded from the investment opportunities. As a real estate investor who has personally sold property to out-of-state investors, I would love to see more money and programs allocated for people in Columbus to acquire these properties as assets instead of only as liabilities. I say liabilities because the majority of programs that are active now force people to live in the property upon purchase instead of being able to flip and rent it. It would be transformative for the people and communities if we had grants or loans similar to the FHA, only tailored more towards people who desire to generate wealth by flipping and or renting real estate, but do not have the necessary capital requirements or connections to obtain a hard money or personal or private money loan. This program will allow for the people to live in these communities to capitalize on the growth of the neighborhood and generate wealth while also bringing more money into the city as well. That's all.
Thank you very much, Mr. Williams. We appreciate hearing your testimony today. Mr. Miller, sorry. We will get in touch with you a little bit further and talk to you a little bit about some of the resources with the land bank and certainly look into some further opportunities to help address what your request was. And that concludes our public comment section this evening. And so I want to remind everyone that the public comment period for the action plan remains open until December 6th. We hope to continue receive feedback on how best to utilize these grants. Again, you can go to www.columbus.gov/finance under the grants management section, and comments can be submitted to grantsmgmt@columbus.gov. I would like to thank James Carmine for helping to prepare for today's meeting. I'd also like to thank my team, Jeffrey Carter and Lucy Frank, for all of their help as well. Of course, I would be remiss if I didn't thank CTV and the team that puts this all together for broadcast. And finally, thank you to the departments for their presentations this afternoon and the finance team for their work managing these federal grants. That concludes this afternoon's hearing, and we wish everybody a great evening.